Do you feel like you're always running a marathon but never quite getting anywhere? Or, do you feel like your life is like a train and you're running behind it, constantly trying to catch up? Well, you're not alone. And the demands of the workplace, family, and life can really leave us feeling stressed and disconnected. But what if you could take control with just a few simple mindfulness hacks? Stay tuned because that's what I've got for you today. Learn how you can reduce stress and boost your productivity, even on your busiest of days, right? I'm Dr. Twanna, and I'm an executive coach for Black women. And today's video, I'm talking mindfulness hacks for busy professionals. And, how do you stay productive? How do you stay present and productive in a frantic, hectic pace that, we're seeing in our workplaces right now, especially for those of you who are in the federal government or for those of you who support roles for those in the federal government? As a busy professional, especially if you're a Black woman in leadership, it is easy to feel overwhelmed. But mindfulness isn't just, about sitting in silence for hours because, well, who's got time to do that at work, right? Rather, it's about making small adjustments in your daily routine that can help you feel more present and focused and at peace, right? So let's dive into these mindfulness hacks and figure out how they can transform your work in your life, right? So we all know that feeling of being pulled in a million different directions. And as professionals, it's easy to feel like you're constantly reacting to everything going on around you, emails, meetings, phone calls, and more. And sometimes it feels like we don't have time for ourselves, let alone for some mindfulness, right? Does that ring familiar with anybody? But here's the thing: this constant hustle can lead to you to your feeling burned out. It can lead to stress as well as just a lack of focus, right? And I've seen this firsthand with many of my clients, successful women in leadership who feel just overwhelmed by the daily grind, right? So it's a real challenge, especially when you're trying to balance the demands of both work and have a life, right? So, how do we break the cycle, right? And that's what we're going to talk about. This is where mindfulness comes in, right? Because mindfulness is literally it's just simply the practice of being fully present in the moment. So but here's also what's important to understand because sometimes we have our own stereotypes, our own definition of what we think mindfulness is. And it really isn't about sitting somewhere in crisscross applesauce for hours and meditating. You don't need hours of meditation to start seeing results when you practice mindfulness. In fact, the mindfulness hacks that I'm sharing today are pretty easy to incorporate into your daily routine. And they don't require you to carve out extra time. So let me walk you through these 5 mindfulness hacks that can actually change how you approach your work and your personal life. So, hack number 1, start your day with intention, right? Just spend about that first minute or two in the morning being intentional about that day you know so it is really just simple, right? Just setting that intention, and before you dive into emails, before you start planning your schedule out, just take those few minutes, 1 2 3 minutes, and think about how do you want your day to unfold. How do you want to show up today, right? And we've often heard that getting up on the wrong side of the bed, right? Well, instead of getting up on the wrong side of the bed, be intentional. Just sit there. And again, it doesn't take 10, 20 minutes. 1, 2, 3 minutes. Be intentional about who you want to be that day and how you want that day to go forward, right? And you can say something as simple as, today I choose peace, or today I will stay grounded and focused. This helps to anchor yourself in a positive mindset before that day starts throwing things at you and pulling you in so many different directions, right? And so, number two is about grounding yourself with the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 technique. I know that's a whole lot, but I'm telling you, it's easy enough, right? And again, you can practice this in real time. Okay. And it literally simply asks, it's a simple way that you can bring yourself back to the present and into the present moment when you're feeling stressed or overwhelmed or distracted, or even before you go into a big meeting. And this is just simply, look around you and name 5 things that you see. Then name 4 things that you can touch. Then listen to 3 things that you can hear. And then what are 2 things that you can smell? And finally, focus on the 1 thing that you can taste, right? This is like incredibly simple, but it is effective for calming that monkey mind, because we're jumping here, here, here. And if you're like me, well, I got to go over here and do this. And hold up, when I get there, I want to make sure I do that, that, that. And so you got one thought, and now you automatically got the 5 thoughts next to that. And then those 5 thoughts, you want to list off 2 to 3 things for each. It's easy to get overwhelmed with the mind racing, but with the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, it's so simple to calm that mind, especially in moments when you're feeling scattered or just anxious. And it does help you reconnect with the present moment. And you are able to reset your nervous system and regain focus. All of this in like a minute, minute and a half. That's it, right? Just a minute or a minute and a half. So, next, the third one, let's talk about hack number 3. This is micro meditations or prayers, because we know science tells us that meditations and prayers do change the brain. Okay. And so these are quick 1 to 2 minute mindfulness exercises that can easily fit as let's say you've logged off a Zoom meeting. Well, you can practice before the Zoom meeting or as soon as you get off. This is just things that are easy to fit into that day. You know, or sometimes maybe you just need a quick break, and you can practice these, deep breathing. You can focus on your body, or even if you're in a safe place, you feel safe, close your eyes for a few seconds to recenter, right? And the reason why I like to tell clients to close our eyes is 80%, about 80% of the sensory data that you get is through your eyes. And then that other 20% is what you taste, touch, smell, or hear. So if you close your eyes, you do cut off a lot of your sensory data, and it does help you to calm, to get recentered, right? And again, you'll be surprised at how a short break can actually refresh your mind and help you regain focus for the rest of the day. Right? Very simple. And so next, hack number 4. Especially if you're like me, this one is about mindful eating. You know, and I say that because I used to be in the military. So even though I've been out for oh my gosh, this year makes I think 31 years. I've been out that long. I still eat fast because I got so focused on eating fast. So, really mindful eating is just another powerful hack, especially for busy professionals. And for those of you, and raise your hand if this is you, whose lunch is whatever I can wolf down in 2, 3, 4 minutes in between a meeting, or as I'm walking and rushing to get to the next place, right? So this one's for you. When you're eating on the go or you're multitasking, we miss the opportunity to really enjoy the food and how we nourish ourselves. So try to set aside, this is a longer one, 10 to 15 minutes to eat without distractions. No phones, no emails, and no work. Really focus in on the taste of the food, the texture, the smell of your food, because it's not just about food. It really is taking a moment for yourself. This simple shift can really improve your energy And it does help with digestion. I can actually say it does help with digestion. Sometimes I have indigestion problems, but using the mindful eating is really helpful for that. And I have clients who've actually been able to lose weight just by doing mindful eating, right? And it helps with your overall well being, right? And so, last but certainly not least, hack number five is do build mindfulness into your commute, right? So, if you are, especially for those you that are like on a Mac train or metro, or you're on a bus, right? Even if you're driving and your commute is a perfect time. It's a perfect opportunity to practice mindfulness. I know that when I was a W-2 employee and I used to spend about 36 minutes in the morning on the train, and that is what I did. You talk about employing mindfulness, sitting there and getting my thoughts together. It really works. So here's some things you can try. Try some deep breathing or a body scan to release any tension in that body, right? It's just a simple way to transition from to or from work mode, right? And so if you're going into work, you're transferring, you're transitioning from home mode into work mode. And then after you get off, do the same thing to transition from work mode to home mode, right? And I remember working in Birmingham when my commute was like 30, 45 minutes in the car, and you're just sitting there on I-65, and then you sit there on I-459. If I got some Alabama folks in here, you know the interstates I'm talking about. But because my at that time my workload was really, really stressful, right? I wanted to be sure that I didn't transition to home and transition that nervous energy and all the anxiety and all the things I used to do during my workday. I didn't want to transition that home to my kids, right? I really didn't want that. And so I would just practice mindfulness on my way home. And that way, by the time I reached home, I was fully present with my kids and not still worrying about the clients that I had left, my veterans who I had left behind at work, right? And again, this just is a way to reset your mind after a busy day or before you go into work. So even if you have only a few minutes, it can make a huge difference in how you feel when you walk through the door at home when you do this on your way home. So remember, these mindfulness hacks don't just help you manage stress. They actually completely change the way you approach your day going in and how you approach your day coming home, right? By taking these small moments to reset, you can increase your productivity and improve your emotional resilience and even find more peace and joy in this chaotic environment, especially in the federal workforce that's going on now for the United States, right? It's about creating a mindful mindset that supports your success without burning out in the process. So, by minding your own black girl joy, for many of us, that's what we're doing. Mindfulness doesn't have to be time consuming or complicated. It can be as easy as five, four, three, two, one. So start your day with intention, breathing before you respond, using micro meditations throughout the day, eating mindfully throughout the day, and building mindfulness into your commute. Just all those those are smart, small, practical ways that you can stay grounded and productive, right? No matter how busy you get and no matter how chaotic things seem right now. These mindfulness hacks are really about making your day work for you instead of feeling overwhelmed and stressed out by everything going on around you, right? So, if you're looking for another powerful tool to quieten your mind and reduce anxiety, I've got just the thing for you, right? Go ahead and check out my next video right here on the 478 breathing method. It's an incredibly easy technique for managing anxiety, stress, worry, and bringing your stress level down in just a few minutes. So, again, you'll want to check it out right here. Thanks for watching. Ready to turn today's clarity into real progress? I'd love to support you. Click the link in the descriptions to connect. I'm Dr. Twanna, an executive coach for Black women, and I'll see you in the next one.